What's up guys, it's Josh here from KeepItTechie, where I help you learn Linux and break into the tech field one step at a time. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install and use Ansible Semaphore on Ubuntu 24.04. Now, Semaphore is a really cool open source web UI that makes managing your Ansible playbooks easier and more visual. If you've been running everything through the command line, this tool gives you a dashboard where you can organize projects, run tasks, and track results. Now, before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow, and it lets me keep putting out more Linux and open source content for you all. So let's get to it. Let's start with a little background. Ansible is a command line automation tool. You can write playbooks, push configurations, and manage servers at scale. But sometimes managing all those playbooks from the command line can get messy, especially if you're working on a team or you want a central way to run tasks without logging into different machines. Now, that's where Semaphore comes in. It gives you a clean web UI to manage your Ansible playbooks, role-based access control so teams can collaborate safely, project and inventory management built into a dashboard, and real-time output of your playbooks when they run. So think of it as Ansible with a control panel. Very helpful if you want structure, visibility, and a way to let others run automation without giving them full SSH access to your Ansible control node. Now, why would you ever want to use this? I'd say if you're running a home lab with a bunch of servers, also if you're managing a team environment, or even just learning Ansible and want a little structure. Semaphore saves you time and makes automation less intimidating. So instead of memorizing commands or digging through YAML files every time, you can set things up once and trigger playbooks with just a couple of clicks. Plus, it can integrate with Git, so your playbooks stay version controlled and easy to update. All right, so let's jump into the installation. What's up, y'all? If you've been watching my channel for a minute, you already know I stay talking about Linux. And if you're looking for a solid, reliable enterprise Linux distro, let me put you on to Rocky Linux. This is the go-to replacement for CentOS, and it's built for the community, by the community. It's got everything you need for a stable and secure Linux experience, whether you're running servers, home labs, or enterprise workloads. And the best part, it's backed by CI/CD, making sure it stays rock solid for the long haul. So if you're tired of these companies pulling a plug on your favorite distros, Rocky Linux is where you need to be. And I've covered Rocky Linux before, and trust me, it's worth checking out. So head over to rockylinux.org to learn more and get started. Keep it techie. Peace. So I'm connected to my virtual machine via SSH, and today I'll be using Ubuntu Server 24.04. So one thing I want to highlight is make sure you're either logged in as a user with sudo privileges or as root. Now let's go through this step by step. And the first thing you need to do is update your system. And so I just hit the up arrow because I already ran my updates for today. I knew it was going to be one of the first commands I ran, but all you have to do is type sudo apt updates and sudo apt upgrade -y and press enter. And also go through, check the Ubuntu repository, see if you have any updates to any packages, and then update the system if you have any updates. Now, the next thing you need to do is install MarianDB or MySQL. Either one will work. I recommend MarianDB. Let's type sudo apt install, and then we want to install Marian or Mary. I don't know why I always say Marian, but db-server, and you should be able to tab it out, and it's not allowing me to tab it out, but I typed it in right. I know I typed it in right. So sudo apt install. Yeah, I typed all that. But anyway, and then you also need the client. So just put MariaDB-client and then -y, and this will install both of those packages for us. And basically that'll get us a database for the back end of Semaphore. Now, sometimes MarianDB or MySQL takes a little time to install. So just go down, grab you a coffee right fast, pause the video, and I'll skip ahead. All right, so we are good. And the first thing you want to do is secure your database install. And let me show you guys how to do that. All you have to do is type sudo MySQL, and it's the same command no matter if you install MySQL or MariaDB. Secure, and looks like this server doesn't have bash completion, which I do not like. I might need to install that. So my SQL secure installation. Press enter, and this will run a script on the server that'll clean up the database management system. It'll also force you to set a root password. You don't have to set one if no one else is going to have access to the server. But if this is in a production environment, I recommend you do set a password. I'm going to not set a password. And then what it's going to ask for is if you want to set a Unix socket authentication. That's basically an account on the system. I'm going to type no, we don't need that. And then right here, it's going to ask you to change the root password. If you want to, I'm going to put no, press enter. And then once you get to this step, this is basically going to go through and clean up your database management system just to get rid of certain things that will protect your server from being hacked. Like for instance, remove anonymous users. So yeah, disallow root login remotely. Yes, we want that. Remove test database and access to it. Yes, that's how some people get into servers, using that test database if it's there. And then reload privilege table now, and that's fine. We can press enter and we're good to go. So that fully secures our MySQL server. Now, of course, you have to take other security measures to protect your server, but I won't go too in detail with that. You guys will have to wait for another video for me to cover setting up security, or I've already done it in another video. Now let's go down and log into our MarianDB database or our server. And all you have to do is type sudo MySQL and then -u for the user. And we want to log in as root, and then -p to ask for a password, which we don't have a password. So I could just press enter and it'll log me into it. Now I already have a lot of these commands written out, so I will just copy and paste. Like for instance, this is simple right here. It's just a create database. Instead of typing it out, you know what I'm saying, I could just paste it in and just show you guys what to type. So create database. I'm gonna just name it Semaphore, press enter. That's gonna create our database. Now we need to create a user for it. And so I got some default information in there so you guys can see how to actually do it. So create user, and all it is a query, but you're creating a user called Semaphore, and we're going to name the user the same name as the database, which is fine. But Semaphore at localhost, you got to make sure you put these single quotes, you know, around each one of those, and then identified by the password, and you have to put that in single quotes and then a semicolon at the end, and that will set your password for that account. So let's press enter, and boom, we're good to go. And then the next thing, we need to grant privileges for that user to that database, and so I'll paste that in there as well. So grant all privileges on Semaphore. That means all the tables with the store right there, so the database, and all tables to the user that we just created. So let's go down and press enter. That will grant all the privileges, and then you want to flush privileges anytime you make changes like this. And then also you can just exit out because we are done. We have our full database set up. We have an account set up for that database. Just make sure you remember what that password was. And as you can see, I just put something simple in there. It's strong password here. So I just put that there so you guys will know that's where you need to put your password at. All right, so the next thing we need to do, let's switch back over to the websites and let me show you guys how to get it. So if you click on install and setup, I'm showing you guys how to set it up on the physical machine. Now there is a Docker version you can get, and it actually has MySQL or Postgres attached to it. So this will make it simpler. I just wanted to show you guys how to set it up on the server using the package. So I'm gonna just click install, and what I'm gonna do is select the most recent one. Just make sure it's selected, and then you can change this to open source. I recommend you do that so you don't have to worry about the pop-up that shows up when you log into it. Basically tries to get you to type in your license and all that stuff. And then since we're installing, which is Debian based, we want to get a dev package. So what we're looking for is the AMD 64, which is right here. But as you can see, they got a bunch of options. So we got a Red Hat, so RPM, we got tor.gz right here. We even got a Windows zip, and then we're just going to grab the dev package, and you just want to make sure it's AMD 64. Unless you're installing on a Raspberry Pi or something like that, then you want to get that ARM 64. So I'm not going to just click download. Let me show you guys. I'm gonna just right click on it, and I know you guys can't see this because it's not sharing my menu, but I just right clicked on it and hit copy link address. And then let's switch back over to our terminal and get that dev package down on our server. And all we have to do is use the wget command and then paste that link in there, and that will download the dev package for us. Now let's go down and install that package, and let me show you guys where it's at. Let's actually clear, and then we can ls, and you'll see that's that dev package for us. And with dev packages, all you have to do is type sudo apt and then install and then the dev package. So you put period / and then the name of the package, which is Semaphore, and boom, there we go. So all we have to do is press enter, and that will go through and install everything for Semaphore, and it doesn't take too long at all. The part that takes a little bit longer is the configuration, which we'll do next. All right, so the next step is to run setup wizard, and all you have to do is type Semaphore, and this will run through the setup. It'll ask you what type of database you're using or database management system we're using, and we're using MySQL. So let's just run with the default. Here is our database host name, which is it's stored on the same server, so we can use 127.0.0.1, and then that's the port, the default port for MySQL, which is 3306. We can press enter there. Now this is where you put in your username and password that we created for the database. You don't have to put the local host and all that stuff. All you have to do is put the actual name. So it's Semaphore for the actual account to log into it, and then the password for it is the same. Let's go down and put in our strong password here and press enter, and we're good to go there. And then the database name, the default is Semaphore. That's why I named it Semaphore, because the default will show up. All you have to do is press enter and it will use the default. Now playbook path, you can modify this. You can leave it in temp. I'm gonna just leave it in temp just for this demonstration, but it'll use that folder as the playbook path. So that's where all our playbooks are stored. So let's just go home and then / Josh and then / Semaphore. Let's just put it that way. I own it and I shouldn't run into any permissions issues. And then also our public URL. All you have to do is skip this step. Now, if you have a domain pointed to this, then you want to put that in here, but I'm gonna just press enter because it's optional. And what I'm gonna be connecting it through the IP address. So just press enter there. Enable email alerts, no. Telegram alerts, no. But it has these options, just letting you guys know. Slack alerts, no. Rocket.chat alerts, no. Microsoft Teams, no. LDAP authentication, so that's great if you're working on Active Directory network. You can use LDAP authentication, so you're good to go. I'm gonna hit no, and then it's gonna specify our config output directory, and we can put it in our home directory as well. So let's go down and press enter, and that will create all the tables and set up the database for you, at least the back end of it, and get everything going for you guys. So I'll be back when this finishes because it takes a little time. It's a lot that it has to put into the database, but I'll be back in a sec. All right, and I want to come back to show you guys this part, but this is where you would set up your login for the server. So I'm gonna just type Josh for my username, and this is when we actually log into the interface. So it has a separate authentication method for the site, unless you used one of those other options like LDAP or something to that effect. Let's go and press enter, and then it's going to ask you for your email address. I'm not sure if you can't put this in there because I haven't tried it without putting my email address in there, but I just went on and put KeepItTechie@gmail.com. So just put an email address in there if you want to. And then it's going to ask you for your name. I'm gonna just put Josh again, press enter, and then also our password. So let's just set up something real quick, and I'll skip past this because one thing it doesn't do is hide the passwords. All right, so we are done. And as you can see up here, it tells you how to actually launch the program. And there's two different ways to launch it. This first way, it will run in the terminal. So you'll have to use like screen or something to let it run the whole time. Or you can use this one right here, which will set up a daemon for you. And so I'll show you guys both ways. Let's just right click on it and paste that in there and press enter. And I forgot, I need to find out exactly where it is. I believe it's under, I don't remember exactly where it is, but let's go down and just find it. So user bin. Let's just type it out that way. So user bin / user / bin and then / and actually put too many in there, but Semaphore, that is the binary, so that'll call the application, and then we can press enter and that'll start it up for us. And as you can see, it's basically set up and running. It's using that configuration that we set up. Also, here is all the information in order to get into it. So it shows you MySQL, the temp path, which we'll use a path in our home directory. This is the version that we're running, the interface, the port, and then that the server is running. And so all you have to do is find out what the IP address is, but I recommend you go down and stop this. Let's say you want this running all the time. I recommend use the other command, which will run it as a daemon. So just go on in, go down to the bottom and run the command again, press enter, and you'll see it pop up right there. And I forgot about the user bin, crap. So let's cancel that. And then let's paste it in again and let's go back up here. I keep forgetting to do that. For some reason, I wish you would be able to find it. Oh yeah, that shouldn't be right because it shouldn't be within my home directory. It should be under user bin. So I'm not sure why they put that out or put that out there for you when it installs it in user bin. But anyway, that's all you have to do is type it in like that. So wherever the location of the binary file is, just go and put that in there and it will start the server for us. And then you can just press enter one time and that'll take you out of that little hiccup right there. It is running in the background. Now let's head back over to our browser and we can go through and look at the sites. And like I said, it's running on port 3000. And so let's just open up a new tab and I'm gonna put it in there. I already know what the IP address is. So it's 100 and then port 3000. So let's go and press enter and boom, we are about to log into it. So just log in with using your username that you created and then your password and then press sign in and we're good to go. I'm not gonna say my password. And then the first thing you want to do is basically set up a project. And then I'll just name something called homelab. And then you can set your parallel tasks. So if you only want a certain amount of tasks running at a particular time, then you can set the max that you want, or you can leave it 0 for unlimited. And then let's say you have Telegram, you can put that in there as well. Allow alerts for the server. Not gonna do it. Let's hit create and we're good to go. This brings up everything for you. First off, I wanted to show you guys the administrative side. If you accidentally downloaded the Pro, it's gonna ask you for a key down here. It's gonna keep asking you for a key. But if you click down there, just wanted to show you guys everything that's on the server. So we got your runners, you got your active tasks. So if you got active tasks already running, you got API tokens, your users, you can set up all your different users. So if you got more than one user, you're good. You can set those up and then you can edit your own account, which is nothing for me to actually do. And then let's put this thing on dark mode. There we go. But you got different languages. So if you speak a different language, you can switch it up. And then right here, back up at the top is our dashboard. So this shows you the history, stats, activities. So stats, it'll fill in that dashboard right there. Activities, settings. So this is the settings for that actual project. And you can back up your project file. So you can also delete project, all that good stuff. You got your runners right here. Project level runners are only available in the pro version. So you will have to get the pro version for that. Now we can go into tasks, templates. You can set up your own templates. You can schedule. This is setting up like cron jobs, your inventory, variable groups. So if you got certain variables, this is where you store all your keys. So SSH keys. So if you got multiple servers, you know, that you connect to using SSH keys, you can store all your keys here, your repository, so you can connect to Git. That way you can synchronize everything and have that version control. You also have a little bit of integration. I haven't played around with this, so you will have to look at their documentation to find out what integration they have. But it says add aliases, and then under your team, this will show you all the users that you create under your admin account. And if you click up here, you can create another project and you can jump back and forth between the projects. You can restore a project from the backup, so you got that option as well. Now a few tips if you're planning on using this regularly. I would definitely recommend you use Git for your playbooks. Don't just upload YAML files directly. Keep them version control. Back up your database as well. You want to make sure you back that up. Semaphore stores everything there. As you can see, it took a while to actually set up the database, but that's where everything is stored. So make sure you protect it. And also think about roles and permissions. So if you're setting up a team on here, don't give everyone admin access. Use the built-in role-based access, which is broken down in their documentation. And also use secrets management. Don't hoard code passwords in your playbooks, or lets you securely manage keys. Definitely take advantage of that. And then also start small. Even if you just use it to automate updates across a few servers, it can save you time and headaches. And I also wanted to show you guys one more thing. If you go over to my GitHub page, I do have a repository for Ansible scripts, and I know it's a little outdated. I need to update it and put a few more Ansible playbooks out there for you guys to play around with, but I have some for Ubuntu 22.04. I need to update it to 24. But if you want some examples of some Ansible playbooks, then you can get some of these from here. Like for instance, this Ansible playbook updates and upgrades packages on a group of Ubuntu servers. So it'll go through and run this command on each one of those servers. And then our inventory file is essentially structuring our servers or targets that we want the script to hit. So it'll use that inventory file for that. But yeah, check out my GitHub. I know these are old. I might update them in the next coming days so you guys can have something else to play with when you start messing around with the Semaphore or Ansible. And of course, I had a link down in the description of the video for everything I covered in this video. And I also try to create a Wikipedia entry for this so you guys can copy and paste all the commands that I ran today, and you can set this up at home on your own system. So that's how you install and use Ansible Semaphore on your server 24.04. Like I said, it's a great way to bring structure and visibility to your Ansible automation. Whether you're in a home lab, at work, or just learning, having a web UI makes automation a lot less intimidating and a lot more collaborative. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who's learning Linux and automation. And as always, remember, the best way to learn Linux is to keep practicing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Yo, what's up, y'all? Listen, if you've been sitting there thinking about making a move, let me tell you, tech is where it's at. I don't care where you're coming from, whether you've got a degree, a GED, or just pure hustle. There's room for you in this game. You see, tech is more than just keyboards and code. It's solving problems, creating opportunities, and building the future. You already have what it takes because tech doesn't care where you start. It cares where you're willing to go. You can teach yourself Linux, learn Python, break into cybersecurity, or even launch your own app. And the resources are out here for free. And yes, you heard me, free. Now, yeah, it's gonna take effort. You'll have to grind, but think about this. The time is gonna pass anyway. So why not invest it in a skill that'll change your life? I mean, tech doesn't just pay the bills, it opens doors to freedom, stability, and generational wealth. So stop doubting yourself, start small, stay consistent, and keep building. Because this isn't just a career, it's a movement. And guess what? You belong here. So let's get it, because the future is yours to build. Keep it techie.